Hey guys, thanks for checking out this clip of Anatomy of the Church and State. Be sure to catch the full episode on Rumble or ChristiansForLiberty.com. Links are in the show description.
Brad, what are some of the highlights of what you guys have been able to accomplish, legally speaking, for civil liberties and religious freedom on the local or federal level?
Yeah, one of the most dramatic cases that we've taken on that is so important for religious freedom across the United States. It involved some churches in California that we represented to challenge the state of California in Santa Clara County, the San Jose area, to be specific, where these churches were told that they could not open. Now, mind you, we had the lockdown. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It was terrible. Churches, synagogues were all shut down. Everyone was shut down initially, but then and there were some groups that quickly filed lawsuits. We told them, please don't file these suits. You're going to lose. I mean, just about everyone shut down. You have to show a disparity of treatment here between churches and others. They didn't listen to us. Instead, they filed their suits and they lost, just like we told them they would lose. And then we went ahead and we waited for there to be a greater disparity. So when they said the strip clubs could open, the pot shops could open, and everyone else and everything except the churches, we had a solid case. We then filed for an injunction. We lost the federal district court. We then appealed it to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. Once again, we lost. We knew we probably would. Then we filed for an emergency writ with the United States Supreme Court. Now, you have like a regular appeal petition for certiorari for the Supreme Court. That's like a less than 1 in 100 chance that they're going to take that up. That's the normal way. But to file for an emergency writ, you're asking the court to rule on something where they don't have all the case, all of everything before them, hasn't been heard on the merits yet. So it's really like, it's like getting a case heard before the Supreme Court. It's like throwing a Hail Mary pass and getting a touchdown, right? That's the normal. It's really hard.
Fourth quarter with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, it's really hard to do that. But to get an emergency writ heard by the Supreme Court, like immediately, that's like throwing a pass outside the stadium, across town to another stadium, and scoring a touchdown. I mean, it's just very, very rare. Well, we filed it, and God had His hand on this, Jeremiah. And as it turns out, we went before the Supreme Court, and in just 3 days. They granted a 6-3 decision ordering Governor Gavin Newsom of California, one of the most intolerant, dangerous governors in the country for religious freedom, ordered him to open those churches and synagogues now. And he did, and it sent shockwaves across America, and it was a fantastic victory. There was another church that went a different route. They had different legal counsel, and they said, no, we're going to keep our people inside the church building, let them give us millions of dollars of fees. We're gonna do it. The attorneys told us we've got this. They went a different route. Now they have over $1 million in fees and fines, and that is which is terrible. We gave our church's advice, so that they would meet outside in a tent meeting outside the church while the litigation was pending. It's in San Jose area. I mean, this is not a place where it's freezing. It's not a place where you're gonna die of heat stroke, generally. So it wasn't a difficult thing to do. And because we did what we did, those churches have no financial burden. We picked up all the costs and expenses because they had good counsel and they listened to counsel, and God blessed their work and their position and our representation. So anyway, I think that's probably one of the most dramatic. But now we're dealing, Jeremiah, with something just as dramatic. It's our second tidal wave in a very relatively short period of time in terms of major litigation.
Mm-hmm.
It's dealing with hundreds of thousands of people of faith across America who have been threatened with being purged from the workplace, losing their jobs because of their faith, specifically because of their sincere religious convictions not to be jabbed by a COVID-19 vaccine. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
I bet you know of people, in fact, probably who've been at that fork in the road of, do I deny my faith and do something I know God doesn't want me to do to keep my job, or do I stand my ground and lose my job and maybe even unemployment and lose our house and not take? It was a terrible situation, and I'm sure you remember things like that, yourself. So,
yep.
So we went ahead and Jeremiah, we stepped up to the plate. Other organizations wouldn't lift a finger on this. I guess they thought it was too controversial. Well, religious freedom sometimes is controversial. That's why we have a First Amendment, a free exercise clause. It's to protect people where they may be in the minority, right? And they may be oppressed. So we took on these cases across the country. We have more cases in active litigation handling these issues than any other organization, bar none. We got Amtrak workers, large numbers, and we got their jobs back. Ascension Health, we got those healthcare workers their jobs back. And then firefighters, police officers. We have class action lawsuits pending on behalf of firefighters in Washington State. We have about 1,000 we're representing against the city of San Francisco who've lost their jobs, purging of people of faith by the city of San Francisco. Bay Area Transit in the San Francisco Bay Area, also class action lawsuit. We had a lawsuit that we filed in Florida on behalf of parents. They didn't want their kids to wear this mask all day. Well, now we know it's not good. It's unhealthy. It's actually handicapped development of children, particularly young children. We took on that case against Palm Beach School District, and we prevailed. And those children were all protected not to have to wear masks, which now we know, medically speaking and psychologically speaking, was clearly the right thing to do for people who are not at risk. We have so many cases that we're addressing in this area, but we're taking them on, and we're working hard to make sure that no one's left on the side of the road. Like I said, that's our hallmark.